कांग्रेस कार्य समिति के सदस्य, राज्यसभा सांसद माननीय पी चिदम्बरम साहब का भी अखिल भारतीय कांग्रेस कमेटी की इस विशेष पत्रकार वार्ता में स्वागत है। बगैर किसी विलंब के मैं उन्हें अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो अपनी बात आपके सामने रखेंगे। आदरणीय चिदम्बरम साहब।
Good afternoon to all of you. It's good to see all of you in flesh and blood. So I hope all of you are keeping safe. I hope all of you have vaccinated yourself. Although Delhi has run out of vaccines. I have an opening statement which I will read in English, and then my good friend Randeep ji will summarize this in Hindi and we'll take questions. A government that is concerned about the welfare of the people and their hardships and burdens will not turn the other way when every household is agitated about the rise in prices. The NDA government has continued to pretend that the concern about price rise is a false concern. And if the government ignores the issue will go away. The Congress party condemns the callous negligence of the government on the issue of price rise. The government and the RBI have set an inflation target of 4 plus or minus 2%. Consumer price inflation has breached the upper limit of 6% and is now, according to the NSO's press release yesterday, 6.26%. Urban CPI has spurted from 5.91% in May to 6.37% in June. Core inflation has moved up in a month from 5.5% to 5.8%. Food inflation is at 5.58%. Pulses 10.01%. Fruits 11.82%. Transport 11.56%. Fuel and light 12.68%, oils and fats 34.78%. Will the government please tell the people what they should eat, how they should light their homes, and how they should go to work? Inflation, even in a normal time, would be intolerable. The present is not a normal time. A pandemic is raging across the country. The pandemic has resulted in jobs being axed, unemployment rising to 8.1%, and incomes and wages being cut for millions of working people. In such a situation of widespread distress, inflation has broken the back of the people, and we hold the central government under Shri Narendra Modi directly responsible for the high inflation. This inflation has not been caused by a spurt in demand. I think everybody should understand that. This inflation has not been caused by a spurt in demand. On the contrary, private consumer demand is low. This inflation has not been caused by excess liquidity or too much money in the hands of the people. This inflation has been caused by the wrong policies of the government and its inept management of the economy. I wish to focus on 3 points. 1. Fuel prices. Despite stout opposition, the government has continually increased the prices of petrol, diesel and LPG. The price in Delhi today of petrol is rupees 100.91 per litre, and of diesel is rupees 89.88 per litre. In Mumbai, they are rupees 106.93 per litre and rupees 97.46 per litre respectively. LPG price in Delhi is rupees 835 per cylinder. In Patna, it is 933 per cylinder. None of these prices is justified by the price of crude oil, which is around $75 a barrel. When crude oil price was $125 a barrel, the UPA government was able to provide petrol at rupees 65 a litre and diesel at rupees 45 a litre. The sole reason for the exorbitant prices is a levy of cesses by the government. Total cesses levied by the central government on petrol and diesel are rupees 33 per litre and rupees 32 per litre respectively. Through these cesses alone, the central government collects approximately rupees 4.2 lakh crore every year. I repeat that number, 4,20,000 crore rupees every year, and keeps all that money to itself. This is exploitation and greed of the worst kind. 2. Import duties. In the last few years, Mr. Modi's government has increased the import duties on a wide range of goods. Despite a downward trend in the value of the rupee, these increased duties remain. The result is higher prices on a large number of intermediary goods, as well as essential goods such as palm oil, pulses, and household items. 3. Irrational GST rates. The government continues with multiple rates of GST, as well as high rates of 12% or 18% on an array of items including toothpaste, toiletries, processed food, other food items, home appliances, etc. GST is an indirect tax, and by definition, it is a regressive tax. High rates have the tendency to push up prices of the final goods and services. The Congress Party demands that the central government should immediately reduce substantially the prices of petrol, diesel, and LPG. We demand that import duties be reviewed and reset so that prices of essential imported goods are cheaper. We also demand that GST rates be reduced on an array of goods that are mass consumed by the people. We are convinced that these steps alone will bring relief to the people from the crushing burden of high inflation. I may add that the Congress Party will raise the issue of high inflation in the forthcoming session of Parliament and demand a full discussion of the subject, as well as substantial relief for the people of India. Let me end by cautioning the government. The issue of high inflation will not go away if you pretend it does not exist.
थैंक यू सर। चिदम्बरम साहब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। पूरे देश में एक अलख जगाने के लिए आंदोलनों का कार्यक्रम और प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस का कार्यक्रम कांग्रेस के नेताओं के द्वारा चलाया जा रहा है, और आज उसी कड़ी में भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस के मुख्यालय में चिदम्बरम साहब ने अपनी बात आपके समक्ष रखी। साथियों, मोदी और महंगाई दोनों देश को मार गई हैं। मैं फिर दोहराता हूं, मोदी और महंगाई दोनों देश को मार रही हैं। डीजल, पेट्रोल और गैस की बढ़ी कीमतें बजट बिगाड़ गई और बाकी कुछ बचा था तो महंगाई मार गई। अच्छे दिन तो आए नहीं, महंगे दिनों ने देश के जनता का बजट जरूर बिगाड़ दिया। अब सवाल यह है, जैसा चिदम्बरम साहब ने कहा, क्या खाएं, क्या पकाएं और घर का बजट कैसे चलाएं। आज ये सीधे 3 सवाल मुंह बाए हिंदुस्तान की जनता के सामने खड़े। कंज्यूमर प्राइस इन्फ्लेशन जिसकी चर्चा आपने की, अब उसके ताजे आंकड़े जारी हो गए हैं और वो 6.26 या लगभग 6.3% तक पहुंच गई है। शहरों में महंगाई और ज्यादा है, चाहे वो खाने पीने का सामान हो, चाहे वो दाल सब्जी फल हो, चाहे वो यातायात के साधन हो, चाहे वो पेट्रोल डीजल हो और रसोई गैस हो, और अब सीएनजी और पीएनजी गैस के दाम भी सरकार ने इसी हफ्ते और बढ़ा दिए हैं। साथियों, सच्चाई यह भी है कि एक तरफ महंगाई की मार और दूसरी तरफ बेरोजगारी की धार। पहली बार इस देश में वर्षों के बाद बेरोजगारी की दर 8% को पार कर गई है। उत्तर भारत के कई ऐसे प्रांतों ऐसे भी हैं, हरियाणा जैसे, जहां बेरोजगारी की दर 30 और 32% है। वो सारे प्रांत जहां बेरोजगारी की दर 20, 25, 30% है, वो सारे भाजपा शासित प्रदेश हैं। नौकरियों में नौकरियां जा रही हैं, 4 करोड़ के करीब रोजगार अकेले लॉकडाउन में चला गया। तो महंगाई, बेरोजगारी, जाती नौकरियां और घटती तनख्वाह, चौतरफा मार हिंदुस्तान की जनता पर पड़ी है। और इसीलिए किसी ने कहा कि मोदी और महंगाई दोनों ही देश की जनता के लिए हानिकारक हैं। जैसा आपने 3 मुद्दे सामने रखे कि इस महंगाई के लिए अगर कोई जिम्मेवार है तो वो मोदी सरकार जिम्मेवार है। और यह महंगाई मांग बढ़ने की वजह से नहीं हुई, यह महंगाई लोगों के हाथ में ज्यादा पैसा है इसलिए भी नहीं हुई। यह महंगाई सरकार की गलत और जन विरोधी नीतियों का परिणाम है। वो चाहे पेट्रोल और डीजल की बढ़ी हुई कीमतें हैं, जिनकी व्याख्या आपने की, हम प्रेस विज्ञप्ति में वो सारी तफसील आपको दोबारा दे रहे हैं। चाहे वो गैस की बढ़ी हुई कीमतें हैं, चाहे वो आयात शुल्क का बढ़ जाना है, चाहे वो तर्क विहीन जीएसटी दरें हैं। मोदी जी ने तो टूथपेस्ट से लेकर, बिस्कुट से लेकर, साबुन से लेकर, तेल से लेकर कोई चीज छोड़ी ही नहीं जिस पर अनाप शनाप टैक्स नहीं लगा दिया। और इसलिए कांग्रेस पार्टी की ओर से 3 मांगे हैं। पहला, पेट्रोल, डीजल, रसोई गैस, इनके दाम फौरन कम किए जाएं और सरकार जो लाखों करोड़ का मुनाफा कमा रही है सेस लगाकर, उसमें कटौती करे और उससे जनता को राहत मिले। दूसरी मांग, जो आयात शुल्क लगा रखा है उपभोक्ता के इस्तेमाल की चीजों पर, फौरी तौर से उस पर पुनर्विचार कर उसे कम किया जाए। तीसरी मांग, जीएसटी की दरें, वो साबुन हो, तेल हो, बिस्कुट हो, टूथपेस्ट हो, टूथब्रश हो, कपड़ा हो, रोजमर्रा की जरूरत की जो चीजें हैं, उन पर जीएसटी काउंसिल की बैठक बुलाकर प्रधानमंत्री इंटरवीन करें और उन दरों को फौरी तौर से कम किया जाए। नहीं तो यह देश मोदी सरकार को, देश को महंगाई की गर्त में धकेलने के लिए कभी माफ नहीं करेगा। कोई भी प्रश्न आप पूछना चाहें तो स्वागत है।
Yes.
Let's ask one by one.
Yes.
Any friends? I hope मोदी जी ने महंगाई पर सवाल पूछने पे तो कोई पाबंदी नहीं लगाई। जी, आदरणीय साथी, आज देश की जनता में जो बेचैनी है वो शायद देश के इतिहास में कभी नहीं थी। और मैं ये सब साथियों को कहूंगा, अगर इसकी बेचैनी को देखना है तो अपने अपने घर के अंदर झांक कर देख लीजिए। 140 करोड़ देशवासियों में से किसी का घर भी महंगाई से की मार से अछूता नहीं। हां, ये सही है, क्योंकि कोरोना काल है और हजारों लोगों के एक जगह इकट्ठा होने पर पाबंदियां हैं, दिक्कत है, इन्फेक्शन फैलने का खतरा है। इसलिए बड़ा आंदोलन शायद इस समय करना लोगों की सेहत और सुरक्षा को देखते हुए उचित नहीं। पर देश का कोई ऐसा कोना, कोई ब्लॉक, कोई जिला नहीं जहां सिग्नेचर कैंपेन, साइकिल यात्रा या फिर प्रदर्शन कांग्रेस के लोग नहीं कर रहे और दूसरे विपक्षी दलों के लोग। धन्यवाद।
पार्लियामेंट सेशन शुरू होने वाला है, क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी इस मुद्दे को संसद के पटल पर भी उठाएगी?
Will you raise it in parliament, sir? I think you already said that.
I said so. We will raise it in Parliament, and I'm sure other opposition parties are equally concerned. So I suppose when the parliamentary parties' leaders meet and they drop the agenda for Parliament, a full discussion on inflation will be at the top of the agenda. What's he saying?
Question is that in the GST Council, Congress party governments have not raised the issue.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct at all. If you have a correspondent in Chandigarh, please ask the Finance Minister of Punjab for a copy of the representation that he submitted to the GST Council. Several finance ministers have raised this issue. Punjab, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Several finance ministers have raised the issue that GST rates must be reduced. One among the reasons why GST rates must be reduced is, as I said, it will temper inflation. High GST rates have an effect upon the final price. So it's completely incorrect to say that Congress finance ministers have not raised the issue. Not only Congress finance ministers, but several other finance ministers have raised the issue. Unfortunately, the central government, and particularly the finance minister, treat the GST Council with scant respect. What they are doing is completely unconstitutional. Instead of the GST Council giving advice which is binding upon the central government, everything is made by rules framed by a committee. And the rules are being placed before the GST Council for information, not even approval. Finance ministers have protested. This is unconstitutional. So I don't think it's correct to say that Congress finance ministers have raised the issue. The real problem is the GST Council is being treated with scant respect.
In fact, my friend, what Chidambaram ji is referring to, our finance ministers, including Punjab finance minister, came here and we released those letters from the AICC podium also. Yes, sir.
कैबिनेट रिशफल हुआ तो कई विभागों के मंत्री बदले गए, तो माना गया कि उनके विभागों में बेहतर काम नहीं हुआ था। वित्त मंत्री का नाम बदले जाना कहीं न कहीं सरकार की बैटिंग को भी जतलाता है। क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी ये मानती है कि जो सपोर्ट मिल रहा है फाइनेंस वो अनुचित नहीं है?
Various departments that were changed, it was presumed that the ministers were not functioning effectively. Finance minister was not changed. Does it mean that Prime Minister feels that the finance minister is acting appropriately? What is your assessment of that?
Everybody in this country knows that all decisions are taken by the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So what does it matter if X is finance minister or Y is finance minister. As far as Mr. Modi is concerned, he is the finance minister, he is the defense minister, he is the external affairs minister, he is the minister for sports, he is everything. So this is a complete inconsequence. Who is minister is completely of inconsequence. I think only Mr. Gadkari has the courage to raise his voice occasionally. But even he is very muted today. He should unmute himself.
आदरणीय मित्र चिदम्बरम साहब ने ये कहा, इस देश में एक ही मंत्री हैं, वो स्वयं नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं। वित्त मंत्री कौन है, रक्षा मंत्री कौन है, विदेश मंत्री कौन है, इसके अब कोई मायने नहीं। जो कैबिनेट प्रणाली है वो तार तार पड़ी है, वो बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से टूट चुकी है। ऐसे में जब एक छत्र शासन एक व्यक्ति निरंकुश तौर से करे तो किसी और व्यक्ति के मंत्री होने या न होने का असर नहीं पड़ता। हाँ, कभी कभी श्री नितिन गडकरी जी की आवाज सुनाई देती है, पर वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा दबी जबान से। और चिदम्बरम जी का मानना है कि उन्हें अपनी आवाज़ थोड़ी और बुलंद करनी चाहिए ताकि मंत्रिमंडल और कैबिनेट प्रणाली पूरी तरह से खत्म ना हो जाए।
सर, कुछ सालों पहले ऐसे ही महंगाई के दौर में सोनिया गांधी ने कांग्रेस रूरल स्टेट के लीडर्स की बैठक बुलाई और उसके बाद कई स्वयं घोषणा यहाँ मंच से आप लोगों की थी। इस बार भी क्या कोई उदाहरण शेयर करना चाहिए आप आपके स्टेट जो है वहाँ पर महंगाई के लोगों को राहत दे सहारे में, ताकि बीजेपी रूरल स्टेट या केंद्र सरकार पर एक उनको नजदीक भी नहीं और उनको एक प्रेशर भी पड़े कि वो जनता को राहत दे सकते हैं।
What can the Congress ruled states do?
What can we do? Tell me. You tell me. You answer your question. What can we do? Can we reduce the just a moment. Can we reduce the cesses on petrol and diesel? 33 rupees and 32 rupees is not the state government's cess. Can we reduce the GST rates? Can we reduce the import duties? None of the points that I mentioned fall within the state government's jurisdiction. Some state governments have promised in the recent elections that in their budget they will try to reduce the state taxes on petrol and diesel. Let's see what they do, but their scope, the opportunity or the scope for reduction there is very narrow. The real reduction can only be done by reducing the cesses, by reducing the import duties, and by reducing the GST rates. None of the three items fall within the state government's jurisdiction.
Thank you. You, sir.
गडकरी जी का नाम लिया, 2 दिन पहले नागपुर में जो भी क्या कहते हैं ऊर्जा सेंटर को उद्घाटन करते समय जो है गडकरी जी ने कहा कि देश की जनता बढ़ते डीजल पेट्रोल के दाम से चिंतित है, लोग आंदोलन कर रहे हैं। खुद गडकरी जी ने कहा।
Which is why I mentioned his name. But he should speak more. He should speak in the cabinet. He should increase the volume of his microphone. And others must unmute their microphone. They are all muted now.
Sandeep ji.
The lady there.
Yes, I'll come to you.
It is. See, everybody who has a car or a two-wheeler or a tractor pays the high prices. They murmur. If you stand in a petrol station, you will hear choicest abuses. But what can they do? They have to go to work that day. They have to travel from point A to point B. Therefore, completely resigned to their fate, they are paying these high prices, and the government completely understands their helplessness And therefore it's exploiting the helplessness of the people. The people are completely helpless because if they have to live and work and move around, they have to pay these prices. I mean, how can you not buy a toothbrush or a toothpaste? How can you not buy processed food? Everybody complains, but government exploiting the helplessness of the people.
सुप्रिया जी.
No, no, please remove your mask and I can't make out what you're saying. Yes. It will be worse. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. I wish and pray that there will be no third wave. But if a third wave strikes this country, it will make the situation worse. I'll tell you why. Jobs have been lost, they have not come back. Incomes have been cut. Wages have been cut, they have not come back to the old level. And if there is a third wave, there will be further job losses, further income cuts, further wage cuts. So this is the time to take preemptive action. Preemptive action is not only increasing hospital beds or oxygen cylinders or vaccines. Preemptive action is also trying to cushion the economic impact of the third wave, a possible third wave on the people. But this government doesn't seem to care. It doesn't seem to care how people are suffering. I mean, ask yourself, are you happy today making your home budget than what you were 2 years ago? What are the things you have to cut down? What are the things you have to economize on? And if there's a third wave, you will have to further tighten your belts. And where is the space to tighten one's belt now?
Anand, Ravi, I'm coming to you.
Prime Minister has just addressed the chief ministers of the northeast states, and he has congratulated some of them for doing a good job as far as the vaccination is concerned. But he's expressed concern that some of the states are lagging behind and the vaccination needs to be ramped up. Congress party has been raising this demand that vaccination should be ramped up and there should be no bias among the states. What is the situation right now? A number of states have been complaining about.
The situation is bad. It's about a week since the new health minister took over. But the fact is, Odisha has reported 24 out of 30 districts have run out of vaccines. Delhi has reported they've run out of vaccines. I think they did 33 lakh vaccines yesterday. They have to do 80 lakh vaccines a day if you have to reach the target. There's no way they can reach the target. The claim that there are enough vaccines is a false claim. The assessment of vaccine production in the country is an exaggerated assessment. The statement that supply to the states is regular, uninterrupted, is a false claim. The claim that we will inoculate the entire adult population by the end of the year is an empty boast. I mean, they should level with the people. The new health minister should remember what happened to his predecessor. His predecessor was his master's voice. He would not level with the people, and ultimately he was made the fall guy. The new health minister must realize that he should level with the people and tell us exactly what is the actual production, what are the actual imports. Nothing has been imported except Sputnik. What is the daily requirement of all the states put together? What is the supply? And when will they reach the target? I mean, we'll give him a few more days to come to a grips with the situation, but he should, at the first opportunity, level with the people of India and tell us the truth. The price Dr. Harshvardhan paid is because he was not telling the truth, even though he knew the truth. He's a medical doctor, but he was being his master's voice.
रवि,
Say it in Hindi.
आदरणीय साथी, आपके प्रश्न के उत्तर में जो चिदम्बरम जी ने कहा, सच्चाई ये है कि देश में कोरोना वैक्सीन भारत सरकार उपलब्ध करवाने में फेल हो गई है। अगर आप कल का ही आंकड़ा देखें जो उन्होंने आज सुबह ट्वीट किया है, तो वो 40 लाख है। परंतु जैसा आपने बताया, अगर आपको 100 करोड़ लोगों को 31 दिसंबर तक कोरोना का टीका लगाना है, तो आपको 80 से 90 लाख कोरोना के वैक्सीन हर रोज लगाने पड़ेंगे। अगर आपकी स्पीड उससे आधी भी नहीं, और पिछले 22 दिन में कोरोना का वैक्सीन लगाने की प्रतिशत 44% गिर गई है, तो फिर हम तीसरी वेव में हमारे नागरिकों की रक्षा, उनकी जान माल की रक्षा कैसे कर पाएंगे? नए स्वास्थ्य मंत्री को ये याद रखना चाहिए कि उनके पिछले स्वास्थ्य मंत्री का लगातार केवल और केवल मोदी मंथन में क्या हश्र हुआ। अगर वो मोदी मंथन की बजाय थोड़ा सा सच बोलते और जनता से संवाद करते और उनकी मुसीबतों के निपटारे का हल की कोशिश करते, तो शायद उनको मंत्रिमंडल के अपने पद से अपमानजनक तरीके से हाथ नहीं धोना पड़ता और उन पर नॉन परफॉर्मर का टैग नहीं लगता। इसलिए सच्चाई का सामना करने की सबको आवश्यकता है। रवि जी,
You see, no finance minister will agree to bring petrol and diesel under GST because of the manner in which the central government is treating the GST Council. Ultimately, petroleum products must come under GST, but only if the GST Council is really empowered and decisions are taken by consensus. But the GST Council is treated with scant respect and a committee of officers decides everything. Why would a finance minister of the state agree to bring petroleum products under GST? In fact, the Tamil Nadu finance minister said, I think he said it lightheartedly, I won't agree even the toothbrush being brought under GST. Toothbrush is already under GST. But what he meant was, why would he agree if you don't even listen to the state finance ministers and you take decisions on your own because you've got a huge number of state finance ministers of the BJP and you brush aside every real opposition finance minister's view? Ultimately, I agree, if balance is restored, if good sense is restored, ultimately petroleum products must come under GST. But that I don't see happening in the near future.
Zeba, I'll come to you. Go to him and then.
Sir, at the time when we discussed these concerning figures with respect to inflation, the NITI Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar, he said that the India story is very strong and the economy will register double-digit growth in the current fiscal, and that the government is very much prepared, better prepared for the COVID third wave. Do you share his confidence? Where do you think these statements are coming from?
Well, with great respect to my friend Rajiv Kumar, few people listen to him. So the question of sharing his views doesn't arise. I mean, I don't know of any economist who takes him seriously.
Thank you, sir. Sunil.
I just want to know you're given the three basic points of why you're attacking the high inflation. But there are some indications which show that the economy is still doing well in terms of the Sensex. And then as a
see, less sense said about the stock market better, because that is not reflecting the real economy. It's a shadow economy. It only concerns the corporate sector, especially the listed companies. So let's not take the stock market as an indicator of the health of the economy. It's like putting a thermometer in your mouth and saying, your ECG is fine, your liver is fine, your kidneys are fine. How can a thermometer measure kidney, liver functions? So don't make that mistake. Now we come back to growth. Benchmark is the GDP at constant prices in 2019-20. You take that as a benchmark, either nominal prices or constant prices. But it's better to take constant prices. In 2020-21, against that GDP level, we dropped a huge amount. In 21-22, because the base is a negative base, there will be statistical growth. What IMF chief economist called mathematical growth. Mathematically, it will be a positive number. But will the positive number take the GDP back to 2019-20? Answer is no. Please note down the date, time, and the person who's saying it. It will not take it back to 2019-20. It's only when you go to 2019-20 there is growth. So 21-22 upon 2020 is not growth, it's mathematical growth. It's only when it goes back to the level of 19-20 there is growth. But that's a long way off.
Thank you, sir. We'll wind up Janinder. Yes.
सर अभी ये खबर आई है कि भारत का जो सीरम इंस्टीट्यूट है वो स्पुतनिक वैक्सीन भी बनाएगा, तो उस पर क्या रिएक्शन है, स्वागत करेंगे?
What?
The serum will also make Sputnik.
Good.
Very nice.
Good. We welcome all vaccines which have been approved. We are not second guessing the medical experts of this country. They have approved Covishield, they've approved Covaxin, they have approved Sputnik. We welcome that. But we have been demanding, and former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh wrote to the Prime Minister that more manufacturers in India must be manufacturing these three vaccines. You should license them either voluntarily or compulsorily so that more people manufacture. Please understand, there is enormous vaccination facilities that are idle in this country. Why is the government not using those capacity and facilities to manufacture more Covishield, more Covaxin, and more Sputnik? Just as Sputnik can be manufactured in serum, equally others can manufacture Covishield and Covaxin. Why are you not using that opportunity and using those facilities?
I'll come to you.
Supreme Court has given the center 2 weeks to clear their stand on Section 122.
No. We can't expand this. We can't expand this press conference
Siddharth.
to include all other items. Yeah. We will come back. If you want, we can have another press conference on that.
Siddharth.
सर आप लोग इस विषय के ऊपर कई जगहों पर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं और लोग कह रहे हैं आप संसद के लिए आपको क्या एक जॉइंट अपोजिशन स्ट्रेटजी भी बनेगी या आप अपोजिशन
You answer.
Other opposition parties will come together to raise the
They
issue.
will. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt about it. When the opposition party leaders meet in the next 3-4 days, when they meet, they will draw up an agenda, and high inflation will be at the very top of the agenda. I have no doubt about it.
Last question.
एक आपके लिए सवाल है, आपने कुछ दिन पहले भी कहा था कि पंजाब की जो क्राइसिस है वो जल्दी खत्म, लेकिन नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू ने ट्वीट किया है और कहा है उनका जो विजन पंजाब के लिए है उसको आम आदमी पार्टी बड़े अच्छे तरीके से समझती है। आपको लगता है कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू आपको एक फिलर दे रहे हैं कि अगर आप उनकी समस्या का समाधान नहीं किया तो आम आदमी पार्टी की तरफ नहीं जाओगे?
आपका अच्छा सवाल है।
Separately. What? No. There are others in the party who are experts on the subject. They will come.